Oh, it is actually going to set it off. I've just now realised that I should probably have started recording this a little bit earlier. So, the AkLex. I get wrong every time I pronounce this because I keep calling them AK weapons because it starts off with the two letters A and K. And I don't know what the lag is here, but this is ridiculous. So to build the dual wielding Lex, which we'll call it that so I don't get wrong, you do need to build 2 Lex primes, which of course means getting the prime barrel and the prime receiver. I just need 2 of each, 1 of each to build the weapon, 10 Orokin cells, and well, just kind of build it. I'm going to leave this one to build, but I did rush the other one because, come on, you've seen us click that there, didn't you? This is really laggy. But then, of course, you get the blueprint, and these are all obtainable from the Axi A2 relic. Now, this relic is only obtainable from Baro, and it contains every single part you will need for the dual-wielding Lex Prime, including the single Lex Prime. So if you don't have the normal one, it is best to get these, build one, level that one up while you're farming for the blueprint and the link, then use that one with another one that you build while you're leveling that one up, and you can basically get there fairly easily from one relic. Of course, this is the first prime weapon to come out by itself since the Burston Prime did, and that was years ago. There was 2 defense missions when I actually went farming for this, and it gave me my favourite defense mission of all. It's the big Pluto kind of... You can get this on Killican, or you could. I think they changed the actual mission type. But it's great because you've just got to kind of stand in one point and defend. This is probably the best defense mission, so can probably keep going on this until I have the parts I need to actually build this. As expected, this share exactly the same stats as the normal Lex Prime. Was really hoping for a bit of a damage increase, but it's fine. The reload is of course going to be slower because there's 2 of them. The magazine is twice as much because there's 2 of them. Fire rate is higher because there's 2 of them, but the accuracy does go down, again, because there's 2 of them. So the only bonus to building this over the standard one is you can fire twice as many rounds, and you can fire them a little bit quicker, just simply because there's 2. But this comes at the sacrifice of the reload is much, much longer. And it comes with absolutely 0 polarities on it. That's not very nice. But of course, it does suffer the same problem that the Lex has always suffered. It has a pretty bad recoil, which means fire rate, increasing it isn't really worth it. Your best bet, rather than putting lethal torrent on these, is to go for hydraulic crosshair because, well, let me just take care of this guy first. The first round you can land in pretty much the same place if you fire slowly with these. As soon as there's a few enemies and you start panic firing, it's changed the positioning of where you're actually hitting, as you can see. First round will land where you're aiming and the rest won't, which means the recoil on these is ridiculous. Increasing the fire rate doesn't improve this. Adding recoil mods also doesn't really improve this. So the best thing to do to keep the damage and the accuracy kind of similar to each other is just take it slow when you're firing, or aim low so you're landing the headshots. But considering, well, you can see from the grouping here, it's better to fire these things slowly than to just rapid fire them. So I think lethal torrent on these is kind of a bad mod. And that is probably the biggest problem with these weapons. The same goes for the normal Lex. It's the recoil after that first round that becomes seriously problematic if you throw in pistol gambit, primed pistol gambit and primed target cracker of course being better, but pistol gambit, target cracker and hydraulic crosshairs are kind of a must for this because, well, hydraulic crosshairs in itself, if we jump in and actually look at what I have in here at the moment, I am planning another V so I can max this one out, but hydraulic crosshairs adds 135% crit chance with Prime Pistol Gambit adding 187. This build's kind of a work in progress. I'm still playing with it at the minute, but after 4 forma, because it comes with none, it is rather expensive to fit this in here, and to be fair, I can probably get away with 4, but I had Lethal Torrent in here, which left 2 points. This needed 3. Hence, I'm still playing with this. But by adding Hydraulic Crosshairs with Primed Pistol Gambit, it took the crit chance to 71.8 as standard, so with Hydraulic Crosshairs in there, adding the 135% to the 71.8%, yes, that is really useful. Making this weapon ridiculously useful. I only threw the elemental stuff on there because I'm playing with trying to keep Baro on this, which increased the puncture to, it goes to about 2,200 and something with Lethal Torrent in there, but the fire rate being higher meant the accuracy was just pretty much non-existent, so playing with this and getting a build on them can be a bit of a pain, especially considering it comes with no forma on it, no polarities on it. So it is a forma heavy weapon, of course, because there's 2 of them, the reload is a lot slower, but I can kind of live with the reload speed on these. Fitting reload mods obviously will fix that. It'll take it down to about 2 from using just the standard quick draw, I think, is the reload mod. I know Stunning Speed adds 40% reload speed, but also adds 10% status chance. If that added 40% status chance, I would say go for that one, but considering that's a 9-point mod and quick draw adds 48% reload speed but is only a 7-point mod, it'll fit, but you will be sacrificing damage for the quicker reload. So yes, it's by far probably one of the slowest reloading weapons in the game, but it's also one of the highest damaging with the best crit chance, and as long as you fire slowly, some of the best accuracy as well. So honestly, if you have a normal Lex Prime that's already set up, sticking with that is just as good as this, but if you do want a gun that has twice the magazine capacity of the single Lex, but takes longer to reload and has worse accuracy, yeah, on paper this thing doesn't look to be that much better than a single Lex Prime. The only reason I like this more than the single one is because the whole longer to reload is kind of countered by the fact that you can get off twice as many rounds before you have to reload. I was going to say in the same length of time, but it doesn't. It takes longer to fire 16 than it does 8. It just means you have to spend a little bit longer reloading, but you don't have to put a mod in to increase magazine capacity. It's just automatically done, and I do prefer my dual wielding weapons anyway. So I personally like this thing, but I do see the point everybody seems to have about it, where if you already have a already fully formatted power built Lex Prime, there really isn't any point in building this.